Monday the 24th of January 1995. Back on the Southwest Chief. All the Amtrak trains have exciting names. We stopped off for 20 minutes at La Junta, Colorado, as the train had to fill up with water. It was a town I'd been in a few days ago, and I took the opportunity to nip out to the local supermarket to stock up on food. The staff were very surprised to see me back again. They'd been surprised to see me the first time I came and spent the day here. The checkout girl was just, "No way, you're back again?" And I said, I was only here for a few minutes, and I had to get back to my train, thinking I had at least 5 minutes to spare. To my absolute shock and horror, as I turned the corner, the train was moving off. Oh, all my stuff was on the train. The next train wasn't for another 24 hours. And I just started running in absolute desperation to try and get back onto the train. I thought maybe I could try and jump on. It wasn't going that fast. Yet, as I got nearer, I heard the guard shouting, "Don't run!" But that wasn't going to stop me. I was just going to run. I was just so desperate to get back onto the train. "No, don't run!" they continued to shout. And then I realised the other thing they were saying. "We're just moving forward for water." Oh, thank goodness for that. It was both an incredible relief and an enormous embarrassment at the same time. The guard was laughing, the other passengers were laughing at my terrified face and my desperate record-breaking sprint. But at least the train wasn't disappearing on the far horizon with all my luggage, with the thought of having to wait another 24 hours for the next train. As the train set off again on its journey with me safely on board, I settled back in my chair, looked out the window, and started to draw. Across the aisle, a lady said, "Hey, what you doing there?" She reminded me of Cyndi Lauper, which in turn reminded me that the tape that was stolen, along with the Pink Game personal stereo, was Cyndi Lauper's new album, 12 Deadly Sins and Then Some. She told me her name was Diana, and we just got talking. And when the train stopped at Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we were both getting off, we decided that we would go and find lunch together. Soon we saw a Taco Bell, which had been a bit of a travelling favourite of mine. Diana was also happy to eat there. "It's good tasty food," she said, "and the price is right, you know." As we tucked into our bean burritos, we saw 2 mounted policemen outside the window. Diana insisted on taking my photo with them. "That's so neat," she said, and the policemen were very friendly and accommodating. As I stood in front of the horses and she took the photo, I had no trouble smiling, as there was an audience of happily disrespectful drunkards sitting on a wall behind Diana, laughing. It was a very amusing picture, but sadly the drunkards were not in the photograph. Afterwards, as we walked away, I pointed out the more amusing photo in the opposite direction and we laughed. Albuquerque has got a good name, hasn't it? It's just fun saying it. Albuquerque. It's also famous for being on Route 66, which might mean more to me had I not been travelling by train. It's got lots of shops with Indian crafts, Navajo sand paintings, which as far as I know originated from healing rituals, and the idea of the sacred sand being glued to small pieces of chipboard and sold to the local tourists possibly goes against the original intention, but I like them. I like the imagery and the geometric designs and the use of coloured sands from the local surroundings. Just seems like the perfect souvenir to remind you of the colourful culture of the area. Returning to the train, we set off on a very long journey. Unfortunately, the train broke down. A wheel had come loose. I was aiming for the Amtrak at Phoenix, Arizona, where I could get a train to San Antonio. But first I had to get a connecting bus from Flagstaff, which eventually arrived at Phoenix at midnight. I was so tired. I'd fallen asleep on the bus and was abruptly awoken at Phoenix Airport to be told to get off. "We have reached our destination. Time to get moving, folks." The problem was my legs were so stiff with cramp, I literally could not move them, and had to lever myself off the bus with my arms on the seat backs, dragging my unresponsive legs behind me. Needing to get the train in the morning, I spent the night at Phoenix Airport. I felt absolutely terrible, but the airport was quiet. Just a few people from the same bus sitting around, waiting for daylight. There was just a hum of electric lights, and the occasional cleaner passing through. Despite being so exhausted, I couldn't sleep. There was a complimentary coffee machine, but I didn't drink coffee. I flicked through the tourist pamphlets and waited for dawn. The Pink Game or the Cyndi Lauper tape might have been a good distraction at this point. Trying to create some sort of balance in the world, Cyndi Lauper would say, "On the darkest day, I wear my brightest clothes," which is a good sentiment. But me and my clothes are feeling rather shabby right now. Maybe I'll muster up the energy to paint a bright picture. Maybe not. Wednesday the 25th of January. When eventually things started to come to life at the airport, I went to find out what buses went to the Amtrak, but nobody knew. Everyone just told me to take a taxi. Take a taxi? Outrageous. I hunted around and found a bus stop. I asked around to see which bus would be the right one, and eventually I found someone who knew the answer. At around 7 a.m. the bus came. I took it and later had to transfer to another bus. Scarily, the buses here have signs with guns with the crossed red circle that say "Se prohíben las armas" or "No weapons." Back home it might possibly say "No fizzy drinks" or at worst, "No putting your feet on the chairs." Here it says "No guns." I finally reached the Amtrak station, which was further away than I thought. I don't know if it was just a bad day, but all the people I met in Phoenix were miserable, even on the Amtrak, which was unusual, as the train crews are usually so helpful and full of fun. But I was so tired, and the past few days had just been one connection after the other. I was absolutely delighted to see the train arrive. The Sunset Limited, and I'm so happy to climb up onto the top deck, find my favourite seat near the water fountain, wait for the off and watch the world go by. San Antonio is only about 1,000 miles away.